Hi, Rob here. Welcome to the grammar part of our writing course. This lesson is about adverb clauses of contrast. Now, I think that these are probably one of the most important and useful types of sentence that you can make because they do so many good things, which I'm going to explain here. So I'll explain what they are, why you need them, and when you can use them. So remember, when we use an adverb clause, we are forming a complex sentence, and you must form a mix of these for a band 6 and above. Here's an example. Although he found it difficult, he tried his best, which is hopefully what you're doing. A lot of what we are talking about is difficult, but you just need to try your best and try to use the language. This is the most important point. It's all very good to have it in here, but you need to use it, so speaking and writing. There's our conjunction, subordinating conjunction, the subject and the finite verb, therefore making it a dependent clause. So remember, a complex sentence is a subordinate clause and an independent clause. Subordinate clauses we also we call dependent clauses. A clause is a subject and a verb. A subordinate clause, there you go. Although I was late, comma, notice the comma, this is important. She wasn't upset. Although I was late, she wasn't upset. So this is two ideas that are opposite. They contrast each other. Maybe you would expect that she was upset because I was late, but she wasn't. Although I was late, she wasn't upset. So this is when we have two opposite ideas, when we're comparing things as well. So this comes back to using a wide range of structures for an 8, a variety of complex structures for a 7, mix of simple and complex sentence forms for a 6 and above, limited range for a 5, and a very limited range for a 4. So you can see how we need a wider and wider range as we get a higher score. Range means lots of different types. So we need to use them when we contrast ideas in the task 2 writing, which is showing that we are developing a better position. And we do this by, when we are giving our point of view, if we say that we understand the opposite point of view, then that's a higher level of thinking and of grammar, and it's a better argument. So if we want to argue something, we want to give our point of view, when we show the other side as well, then we are showing better understanding and better communication. In the task 1 academic writing, you need, no choice here, you need to compare and contrast to answer the question. That's what the question says, doesn't it? It says, make comparisons where relevant. Well, it's mostly relevant to compare, and we can use this type of sentence to help us to do that. As I've said, grammatical range and accuracy, we need a mix of simple and complex sentence forms. Band 7 or more, we need to look at both sides of the argument. Even if it's an opinion essay, these are my 4 ideas that support my opinion. I completely agree with this. Even though you completely agree, you should look at the other side too. You should mention it. For example, here, look, although students in mixed schools spend more time with the opposite gender, those educated in single-sex schools are actually better socialized, according to some research, but we don't mention that. While, so this is another word that we can use, another conjunction, while some say that the youth are not as polite as they used to be, the older generations have always complained about this. So these 2 ideas are important. Not only are you developing your position better, but you are also using better grammar. So So do that. Here we go. In the task 1 writing, look, make comparisons where relevant. That's what the task asks you to do. So it asks you to do that. So this will help with both your grammar and your task achievement score. So answering the question and grammar. For example, although nuclear, solar, wind and hydropower start at a similar point at about 4 quadrillion units, their consumption varies somewhat at the end of the period. So that sentence explains this change. So although they start similar here, they end differently over here. So essential to help you to summarize this graph and describe the lines on it. Make comparisons where relevant. You must. So an adverb clause is basically just a big adverb. Adverb clauses of contrast also show surprise. Mostly we can always use although, but we can use other words as well. So we can use, and if you look back at the sentence types part 1, I explain this in more detail. So but, however and although, they all have similar meanings, but we create different types of sentences when we use these. So these are how they are used. So if we use although, we're creating a complex sentence. If we use but, we're creating a compound sentence. If we use however, it could be simple or compound. And here are the examples. Pause the lesson and take some time to look at this and how to form these structures. Okay. So it's good to use all of these. Remember, for a band 7, we don't always want to put however at the beginning of a sentence. We could put it in the middle. I'm extremely tired, full stop. I am, however, still working. That would be more flexibility, which you need for a band 7 and higher. So we don't just use although, we can use these others. Although he found it difficult, he tried his best. Though he found it difficult, despite the fact he found it difficult, in spite of the fact he found it difficult, regardless of the fact he found it difficult, contrary to the fact he found it difficult, while he found it difficult, whilst he found it difficult. All of these are the same, have the same meaning. And remember, we want this variety, so we don't want although. It's good to mix it up to provide more variety. Okay? And as we've explained, there's our subject and verb and conjunction. And remember, you can also swap them round. I went to the beach although it was raining. Although it was raining, I went to the beach. Notice we don't need a comma here. She joined the class although she hadn't paid yet. So, other way around, although she hadn't paid yet, comma, she joined the class. So, as I've said to you, these are essential. You need them in both the task 1 writing and the task 2. You need them. There's not an option here. These will really help you to answer the question and get a higher grammar score. Watch the lessons on the other types of adverb clause. Thank you very much.